Hello and thanks for staying with us at Asset Television. Welcome to the news at this hour. I am Emanuela Akwaya, and here are the headlines. Nigerian Senate probes railway performance. Revenue mobilization proceedings must go on, Honorable Lego insists. Akwa Church decry killings across Nigeria. Now on the news in detail. The Senate on Thursday inaugurated an ad hoc committee to investigate the contracts and execution of railway projects across the country, following fresh concerns over the deteriorating state of operations on key routes. The move followed the point of order raised by Senator Abdul Ningi under Order 42, drawing attention to what he described as a tragic situation affecting the Kano-Kaduna rail line. Ningi told the chamber that the frequency of train services on the route had dropped drastically to one trip per day, while travel time for cargo had increased from about 1 hour and 30 minutes to nearly 3 hours.
Investigation told me when they started commuting, they were commuting 10,000 passengers in a day. Last 2 weeks, Mr. President, I visited Kaduna like I used to visit Kaduna with the railway. And what I found and discovered was simply a tragic Nigerian story. I ventured into the leader of the railway, that is the manager, and he read these statistics to me. First he told me they were committing 10,000 passengers, and because of the terrible nature of the Kaduna-Abuja road, most people come from Kaduna and walk and travel back to Kaduna. The 10,000 passengers they were doing a day was reduced to about 800 to 900. The 10 shuttling that were doing a day was reduced, Mr. President, 2 times in a day.
Corroborating the concerns, Senator Adamu Alero said the reduction in trips was partly due to extensive damage to rail infrastructure caused by bandit attacks.
It is true that
in his remarks,
the number of trips has dropped drastically from 5 to only 1. This is simply because the bandits have damaged the truck and they have vandalized the truck, and it takes a lot of time and resources, and these resources are not available. As likely you know, even contractors that have finished their jobs, they are now finding it difficult to get paid. So the same problem is now extending to the services like Nigerian Railway Corporation. We are on it. I called the Minister of Transportation and also the MD Railway Corporation to discuss this issue almost on a weekly basis. And I have been putting a lot of pressure on him that, look, this rail line used to be the pride of the nation.
In his remarks, Senate President Godswill Akpabio challenged the suggestion that funding was the main constraint. Instead, he argued that the core issue lay in the age and quality of the rail infrastructure, describing some sections as substandard.
He pointed out that they were conveying about 10,000 people a day, and the people paid. So where did the money go to? And then we also borrowed billions and billions to Putin from China. Why would they sell us second-hand rail coaches? What about the rail tracks? Why second-hand? So we have a responsibility as a Senate, founded in the Nigerian Constitution, to ask questions, to look into these things, and to correct them. We have always said that we're a corrective parliament. So we must look into these things and let Nigerians know where it went wrong. And if there are people that kept the money for us, saved the money for us to buy the second-hand one, then we get them to bring back the money. From their hands alone, we can recover enough money to repair the coaches we are talking about, if we need to repair them. Or we ask for a total refurbishment. That's why we want a holistic look into this.
The investigation is expected to cover project design, funding, execution standards, and maintenance structure. The Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria has launched Nigeria's first fully electric airport-to-city shuttle bus service, a feat described as a historic milestone in the country's transition to sustainable transport and low-carbon aviation access. The initiative, unveiled at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, is in partnership with NEV Electric, Nigeria's first and premier electric vehicle manufacturer, and Possible Electric Mobility, the country's largest electric vehicle fleet operator. The service deploys Nigerian-manufactured NEV T6 electric buses to transport passengers between the airport and major city terminals, including hotels, business districts, and key government offices. According to FAN, Abuja serves as a pilot city with plans for expansion to other international airports nationwide. Transitioning from diesel to electric buses is projected to reduce emissions by approximately 74%, equating to an annual saving of around 1,327 tons of COE. This represents a significant contribution towards Nigeria's climate goals and FAR's sustainability roadmap. Former Speaker of Cross River State House of Assembly, retired Honorable John Gao Lebo, has dismissed as erroneous that the Cross River State delegation to the Federal Government Interagency Technical Committee program in Abuja on the disputed oil and gas wells between Cross River State and Akwa Ibom State staged a walkout during the proceedings, as erroneously aired by some media platforms. He maintains that the proceedings must go on despite protests by Akwa Ibom State indigenes in Abuja. Earlier, before the commencement of the proceedings, Labour said, contrary to the narrative being circulated, the proceedings were initially paused when the acting chairman of the committee, representing the chairman of the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission, Aliu Almakura Abdul Kadir, announced a temporary suspension of the presentation of the committee's report. The Cross River State delegation expressed concern over this development and formally protested the suspension. Following constructive engagement, the committee agreed to proceed with the presentation as earlier scheduled. During the presentation, the appointed surveyor comprehensively established both the land and maritime boundaries between Cross River State and Akwa Ibom State, using newly generated mapping. This technical exercise clearly reaffirmed the existing boundary demarcations between the two states. The presentation was subsequently disrupted when the Surveyor General of Akwa Ibom State, Sub MM Isang, raised an unsubstantiated claim that Akwa Ibom State does not share a maritime boundary with Cross River State. The Christian Association of Nigeria in the 19th Northern States and the Federal Capital Territory has rejected calls by the Supreme Council of Sharia in Nigeria, demanding the removal of the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Joash Amopita. Khan said the demand, which followed claims that the INEC chairman acknowledged international concerns over the persecution of Christians in Nigeria, represents a dangerous escalation in the politicization of faith and a direct threat to the independence of Nigeria's electoral umpire. In a statement by East Northern Chairman, Reverend Joseph John Hayab and Secretary General Bishop Mohammed Nanga, Khan questioned the real forces behind the Sharia Council's intervention, asking pointedly who was sponsoring the campaign and why they were operating under the cover of a religious platform. Khan further warned that demanding the removal of a sitting INEC chairman on the basis of his faith or personal religion conviction strikes at the heart of constitutional democracy, stressing that Professor Amopita's freedom of religion is guaranteed by law and does not constitute bias or disqualification from public office. Asset will be back after the short break. Stay tuned. Welcome back from the break. The Evangelical Church Winning All has called on the federal government to end the incessant attacks, killings, kidnapping and other security challenges across the country. Reverend Job Ayuba, the president of Akwa, made the call in a statement on Thursday in Jos. Ayuba, who decried the spate of attacks and kidnapping of Akwa members, advised the federal government and the security agencies to strengthen intelligence gathering and early warning response. Ayuba, who decried the spate of attacks and kidnapping of Akwa members, advised the federal government and the security agencies to strengthen intelligence gathering and early warning response. The president particularly decried the attacks and abduction of worshippers in Kumi Wali community, Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State. Ayuba, who commended the security agencies for the deployment of personnel to Kajuru, however, called for proactive, sustained intelligence-driven and preventive operations. Galatasaray striker Victor Osimhen has linked the passion of Nigerian fans to that of Turkish supporters, citing the intense criticism players receive from both fan bases. Osimhen was speaking during a Here or There segment on Bleacher Report Football, where he was asked to compare various aspects of life in Nigeria and Turkey. After revealing his preference for Nigerian food, the Super Eagles striker was asked about the fans, and he did not hesitate to draw parallels between both countries. Osimhen first arrived in Turkey in the summer of 2024, joining Galatasaray on loan from Napoli. His impact at the club was immediate, as he quickly became favourites in Istanbul and beyond, spearheading the club's domestic dominance. In his debut season, he scored 37 goals and provided 7 assists across all competitions, leading Galatasaray to both the Super League and Turkish Cup titles. And that is the size of our package at this hour. Do follow us on all our social media handles. On behalf of the news crew, I'm Emmanuel Akwaya.